I've got a 5-step process, and the 6th step is actually getting them out into a swim, but 5 steps to get conditioned to put controls in place that for the crazy dogs that like to swim, we were going to add some criteria to that behavior. And for the dogs who are a little bit worried, we're going to give you 5 steps that you can teach your dog to love water. Step number 1, you need to buy yourself one of those plastic kiddie pools. Now, you could start with this in your living room. I do it outside, but have at it if you want to do it in your living room, because all we want to do is shape the dog to jump in, throw some cookies in the pool. Once they're in, tell them search, they eat the cookies, they jump out, give them a lower value cookie when they jump out. That's all that we want in step 1, that they go, well, I don't know why you want me in here. There's no water in here, guys. Remember, this is your living room. No water. It's an empty pool. You might want to put a rock in the middle. I like to put a rock in the middle. More on that later, especially if it's outside, it won't blow away, but I use it for the training. Okay, jump in, get cookies. If your dog likes to tug, we can tug when they're in there, and we're just shaping them to get in and get out. All right, once that's going tickety-boo, I want you to add a name and 3 different behaviors. So I just tell my dogs, go get in, which I think is really a lame name. Last week I had a student here and I suggested she use the cue Dunkaroo. Dunkaroo doesn't sound anything like anything else we use, so it's very specific. Go and jump into the water. Okay? Even though there's no water right now, I get it. There's no water. Eventually, Dunkaroo is really going to mean water.
Dunkaroo!
So beautiful. So step 1 is just shaping. Step 2, adding a cue, which means you're going to walk around the pool and you're going to give your dogs cookies on the outside. So the pool's on the inside, the dog's on the outside. You're just going to give them cookies for not jumping across and going in the pool. And if they go, wait, there's better cookies on the inside, just get further away and then stop, ask them sit, and then give them the cue so that they can jump in and get more cookies. Eventually, you want to be able to walk with the dog on the inside so that they're closer to the pool. Now, some dogs might jump in and jump out, kind of like musical chairs. Like, is it now you want me to do this? Do I jump in there now? We want the dog to not jump in until you give them their cue. And it's very, very clear. Empty pool, there's nothing driving them crazy saying, oh, I got to get in here because look at all my friends are swimming. No, just an empty pool. You don't go in there until I give you the cue. Now, for those of you who have dogs that are crazy, you might have to stay at this step a little bit longer. Adding now 3 behaviors: sit, down, and spin. If your dog doesn't know how to spin, it's super easy. You can go to the YouTube video that I have on target training, or you could get super simple, just put a cookie in your hand and use it as a lure. I want the dog to do those 3 specific behaviors. For number 1, the sit, they're going to have the sensation eventually of water on their butt. Ew, don't like that. And so that's the first introduction to this is something you may or may not like at first, but I promise you're going to learn to love it. Number 2 is the down for 2 reasons. Number 1, the dog can cool off a lot easier if they're in that down position. Number 2, it's easier way for them to not be a problem if they're sharing a pool with other dogs. But I really like it because it submerses their whole body and we see what they do and don't like about this water before we take them into a lake or a river to swim. And the third one, the spin, is because there is water in there. It starts sloshing around, and they're going to feel water splashing up on their face, and we're going to overcome all of these challenges just with those 3 little behaviors, all right? And you're going to keep tugging, which there'll be some slushing there. If your dog doesn't like tugging, that's fine. We can still throw cookies in and tell them to eat the cookies even when there's water in there. Okay, so now we're on to step 3. Step 3, we're going to leave the pool. You just got to find a hose, a garden hose, and a piece of concrete. So if you live in the country, you're going to have to go visit a friend. And what I want you to do is you're going to just wet the concrete first, and you're going to tell your dog search. And so they're just eating the cookies off the wet concrete. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Now we're going to turn the water on really, really low, and you're going to drop the cookies onto the concrete with the water streaming. So eventually the water will take the cookies down the concrete a little bit. They've got to be really high value reinforcement, guys. So don't cheap out on these really, really good cookies. Eventually, we're going to turn the water pressure up a little bit more. I mean, we're not fire hosing it or anything. We're just turning up a little bit of pressure so that the cookie, you add one cookie and the dog's like chasing it a little bit on the concrete. Make sure it's safe. Like, you're not turning this out to go out down on the driveway into traffic. It's just a fun game of chase the cookie in the stream of water. What we're doing here is allowing the dog to be introduced to the sensation of the pads, and maybe the tops of their feet are getting wet, but it's all being done in the context of a fun game, no pressure. Again, throughout this process, it's your dog who dictates the pace. I'm going to say this one more time. If you've got an appointment for swimming lessons with your dog on the 7th, you might have to cancel that because only your dog knows how fast this is going to go. For some dogs, it may be fast if they're really driven by food. For others, if they're really fearful, have had a bad experience, it might take a little longer, but it's still possible. You just have to be patient. All right, so we've got dogs who will dive into the stream of water and grab cookies and everything's hunky-dory. Now we're moving on to step 4. We're going to take that pool outside with the rock in it so it doesn't blow away. I like it on a little bit of an angle. It doesn't have to be much, and sometimes the pool itself, just the structure of it, will create an angle, because here's what I want to do. I want to put a thin layer of water at the bottom, but about a quarter of the pool doesn't have any water at all. And I'm going to do the Dunkaroo go get in game where the dog gets in, gets a cookie, gets out, but you can point to them, look, it's safe. Look, I'm your friend. I'm looking out for you. You can jump in where there's no water. And they can jump in. There's water in the pool, but not where they're standing. And you're just going to do search, grab the cookie out of the water, get them out. Don't have them think about, oh, I'm in here and there's water and then do I get the cookie? No, just grab that cookie and get out. High value reinforcement. Eventually, we want to get that dog doing our sit down, stand, spin. They can do it on the dry spot at first. And then walking around the pool, getting cookies, you're going to say search. It's a very, very thin layer. It doesn't even cover their pads, right? So their pads are going to get wet. The hair between their feet are going to get wet. Eventually, at this stage, we're going to add enough water that it covers the tops of their feet. Ooh. You don't go on to the next stage until you can get the entire pool with that thin layer of water covering their paws. Honestly, if you've worked through these stages really slowly, your dogs are going to go, yeah, I got this. What's the big deal? Yeah, and the first time they sit and get their butt full of water, they might pop right back up. You tell them, get out, play a game, and get that back in. Don't let them think about it. Yes, my butt got wet. What the heck just happened there? Now we're ready to move on to stage number 5. This is the big time. Stage 5, we are raising the level of the water until it's at the dog's pasterns. If we can get our sit down, stand, spin here, it will be very quickly to move it up to the level of the dog's neck when they're in a down position. So it's quickly, we move the level of water up to it's the base of the dog's neck when they're in a down position. Obviously, for a little dog, that's going to be a lot lower than, say, for my border collies. I like that level because their body is all wet. We know if they've dealt with things, oh, I didn't like my back wet, I didn't like my butt wet, I didn't like my arms wet. So we've dealt with all of that. We've got the dogs a place that can be cool when we're doing this in the summer. And by the way, when you get to stage 5, pick a hot day in the summer to do it, because you're taking them for a little walk. You're going to walk them around the pool and then tell them go Dunkaroo. They're going to be hot. They're going to go, oh yeah, I think I do want to do a Dunkaroo. I don't know. This sounds like a lot. This is fun. I think I'm going to like this. All right. So remember, stage 5, all the way up, your dog's success is what guides them. And if you don't know what success looks like, go back to podcast number 157 and evaluate your dog's body language. What are they telling you? If they're saying, I'm a little apprehensive about this, go on back up a couple steps and have at it, make it fun, grow that confidence. Do not be in a hurry. So you've accomplished stage 5. Now what I would like you to do is take your dog on a walk to a conservation area where there might be a low stream and do the same thing in a low stream. If you've got another dog who likes water, let them kind of trail in front of the dog that's new to this, and before long your dog will be running in the stream. Now we want to try and do it in a lake. A lake with a beach or a river with a beach where your dog can walk out is always best. If you go out and swim with them, ideal. And here's where something I should have added before. For some dogs, I will have them swim with a life jacket for the first few months when they're swimming, especially dogs with a U neck. Now, a dog structurally with a U-neck that looks like they have a little bump here because they have a bend in their neck. Some of those dogs, they swim vertically. Naturally, their back doesn't float along the water. Now, my girl Feature, double pictures of Feature today if you're watching this on YouTube. My girl Feature had a U-neck, and so as a youngster, when I was doing all of this with her, she swam kind of perpendicular in the water. She swam with a life jacket for 6 months, and I eventually weaned it off of her. But all of my dogs, I put them in a life jacket every once in a while because I think it's just good to use their body muscles differently. Obviously, it creates buoyancy. Obviously, it gives them more security. So every dog, when I start them off swimming, I start them off in a life jacket because it just takes away that hysteria. Okay, so you're at the lake. You might want to go in. You might have other dogs that go in. Dunkaroo, have at it, and you will see a different layer of confidence. Again, only if you're patient.